Hello and welcome to Wallybois. And in this live stream, I want to make a little door, a cupboard door, but it's to replace existing cupboard doors. And I say doors because at the moment there's two, but I want to replace it with one. And what we're going to use is actually a dry white board. Yes, I want to make a cupboard door that has a dry white board built into it for the office. Because I've got nowhere to put a dry white board to put my notes on, you see. Yeah, because everywhere's covered in records and CDs, DVDs, and other stuff, and Star Wars memorabilia. So there's no wall space to put anything. So I thought, oh, hang on, I've got these two doors I made on there ages ago, which are, well, made from oak, and I could use that for something else and make this door out of whatever I've got. Yeah. Well, I've got a dry white board here. So, yeah, I've already got that. So that's a start. And it's almost the right size. It's a little bit shorter than I'd like. And I'm going to be using what we call volley boards, which is this stuff. And volets is shutters in French, volley. So volley baton, which is be this. And it's like a tongue groove board. So I'm going to be using that. But it's not going to be used tongue grooves, obviously, because it don't need to be. Because basically the panel is going to be the dry white board, and there's going to be a wooden frame around the outside. Now, it's going to be a bit jiggery-pokery to make this work, because the actual bottom rail is going to have to be much deeper than I really would like, because that ain't quite, it's about 50mm deep than I would really like. So, because that isn't big enough. So I've got to make up the distance with the frame around the actual door itself. Also, I've got to decide whether or not I'm going to put a backing board in the actual door, because the back of this is like got weird foil stuff on the back, as you can see. Every time you open the door, you're going to see it. You see, and we use that cupboard, which is it's actually a niche. It's an old French niche, and we use that for storing all my bits and pieces in the office, like cables and all that sort of stuff. So so that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a bit of a, how to put it, a learning curve, because it's kind of, how to put it, I'm using whatever I've got, and it's not necessarily going to fit. So I've got to make it fit, or make it work. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Got to try and make it work. Anyway, what we got up there first, let me just bring up. Oh, I'm live according to this, so I better turn that volume off. Otherwise, it's going to be me talking to myself. And that sounds really silly. There you go, look. Right, that's off. Right, here we go. Curry Library. How's the tree plant going? It's going actually quite well, actually. We put some more in last week. We haven't actually put, what did we put on last Sunday? There's around 400 trees in so far. Then we've got all the ones we've propagated as well. And there's about probably the same again that's been propagated. But they won't go in until later in the year. Also, still got to pick up some more of the trees that we've got down at the nursery, the whips and what have you. They've got to be picked up, and I've got to make more signs because we have had some very generous donations and that as well. So we've obviously got get on with that, which is quite nice. It's nice to see it happening. So what I need to do really is to make some videos really to back it up. That's what I need to do. Well, there goes my compressor. On that note, so that's what we're going to do. We are going to make a door. Hello, Gingers. I hope you're well. And Simon says, I must be psychic. So, something told me to check you too. But there you go. I'm live. So, what we're doing, we're making a door with whatever we've got. Yeah, it might go well. And my cameras have been playing up. Like, for instance, my bench camera doesn't work. For some reason. Something to do with the ports on my USBs, so that ain't working. The other camera, the one for the radio alarm saw, isn't working, so that ain't very helpful. Luckily, that one, which I can move about, which is over, that camera, which is over there, I can move about. And that one, so I've turned around the lathe camera, so we can got that one over there now, so that's quite, look at the size of my butt. Oh my God. I've lost 4 kilos. That's a good sign in just about 2 weeks, so it's not bad going. I've got to lose about 20 though. Crikey. I put on so much weight during lockdown and before and after. I keep putting weight on, so I like him losing it now. So is that one? What else we got? Well, that one. See that the other camera isn't showing on that one, so that's not very helpful. And that one missing camera, so that's not very helpful either. So yeah, that'll be the aerial camera. But I'll tell you what I have got coming into the workshop. I can say a Wally. Hello, Wally. What would you like a treat? Would Wallybois like a treat? Would you? Huh? Say hello to the camera. Just say hi. Yeah, boy. You're a good fella. Right, anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? So I need to go on to, let's say, for instance, that camera. No, that camera. I'm trying to position it in a way where it's not blowing all highlights out. I say that camera isn't actually, it's frozen. Oh my god. All my cameras are going to loopy. Deactivate, activate. Oh, yeah, that's working. Right, that's better. Right. I think it's the computer struggling. I need to set up the ports or something. So we'll bring that one over there, and I'll plug this light in as well. So it's a bit ad hoc, isn't it? So we're just gonna wing it really. Hopefully we can make some room. Right, might bring that camera a lot higher, I think. Try not to pull the cable out. And we'll bring that down a bit. More of an aerial view at that point. It might be better on the other camera actually. I haven't got my aerial camera, you see, 'cause it's not working. So anyway, let's see what happens with that. Oh dear, these things are sent to try. Hello, hope you're well, buddy. Right, you can sort of see me. Okay, so I've got this bit of board here, so I'm wondering whether to use that as a backing board. Possibly, possibly not. I've got another option. I could just paint the foil, I suppose, with it'd have to be an oil-based paint. It's not ideal, I know, but I don't want to spend any money because I ain't got any. So it's just need to whatever I do, I've got to do it with whatever I got. I don't even you know that floor material that's down now. That floor is down. I just got to make a load of plugs, which I might make in a minute actually as well for the floor, because at the moment there's those screw those little holes with screws are. I've got to put wooden plugs in. You see, little wooden plugs in the holes. But there's a lot of them. So I got this bit of old ply which came out of a caravan. So I might use that as a backing board. But first things first, we need to dismantle my dry white board, because I just want the dry white board as a magnetic one as well, so it's quite handy. So what we're going to do is remove the frame. First of all, remove all these screws in the back. So I need to get my raw ingredients. And where is my drills? I think the missus has been putting things away again. Oh dear. That's what happens. Oh my god, just kick the camera. Oh, Wally's in front of the fire. Oh, yeah, she's put it away. Wally's getting all toasty over there. Look, there he is. Hello, Wally. You happy there, fella, in front of the fire? Is it warm? God, he's a little fire hog, that one is. He's a right little devil. Right, let's remove all these screws. Got cables everywhere again because my fixed cameras aren't working. I'll have to come up with a solution. I need to find out what the problem is there. Okay, so I could move that one further back. Not a bit. That might be better. Obviously the light's reflecting on that foil. I wonder what I'll do with this frame. Made of. I think it's beech. Yeah, it's beech. What I might do with that then is I might make a picture frame or something with it, but I'll paint it black. I don't like that light colour, you see. I'll paint it black, but then I'll give it some relief by actually sanding it back a little bit on the edges and corners and stuff like that, then lacquer it. I've done it before, I know it works. You know, it looks really cool when you do that. I know Graham Hughes is going to disagree with me. Because I know he keeps ranting about architecture. Yeah, you've got to think about architecture. He's all wrong. You know, I've worked in the industry long enough to know that you can't build like that anymore. You just can't. One thing that's terrible for the environment. It's, you know, I had this conversation. It was almost like a rant, really, because it was quite a hefty disagreement on Ginger Island with Graham Moose about architecture. Now, when you work in the industry, you realise all the problems involved with working with natural materials, because that's what I used to do. I used to do a lot of work with stone and what have you with our business, you know, renovation works and that. And finding people who can work the stuff for a start is like, well, almost impossible. Heavy lifting equipment is required because partly because of EU rules that we if you used to get like 50 kilo bags of cement and now it's 25 because of the laws regarding lifting stuff, assisted lifting. You have to have assistance, so they're half the size of the bags and still charge you the same. That's what it feels like anyway. So and the other thing is, we're talking about natural materials. If you're not talking about I hate, don't get me wrong, I don't like the use of concrete and stuff like that. I don't like that, but I do love modern architecture. If it's done well, obviously. There is some real dogs of buildings out there, I have to admit. Dogs of building, real ugly things. And I don't think, if you look what happened in the 60s and 70s in the UK, there's so many buildings went up with very few checks. The aesthetics didn't really seem to come into it at the time to that extent when it should have done. You know, does the building fit in with its surroundings? You know, does it look right? Because if I go around Norwich, there's so many buildings, just like they're all chalk and cheese to each other. I don't mind the chalk and cheese as long as it still works, if you know what I mean. You know, as long as it still looks the part, and not like it's just like landed from outer space. But me and the missus, we're quite interested in the idea of building another house because we realise we're not going to be able to, when we get older, we're not going to manage this place. We're just saying it just takes so much work. This house does, it really does, and it's not really feasible, to be honest. Turn it around, it's better to get my butt then, don't you? That's it. Yeah, let's move this out of the way though. Charlie said. Right, move that out of the way. So I don't need that now, right? But what I have got to think about. So this I'm going to make probably into a picture frame of some description. I don't know, or something. I don't know. I think of something. Yeah. So it won't go to waste. I will knock that screw out of there. It's got a plug holding it in at the moment. But I'll knock it out because otherwise it's going to go in your fingers. Yeah. So we're thinking about building another house at some point. Maybe in that 5 years' time, I imagine. Especially if I can actually earn some money, that'd be really handy. But we can obviously sell this place, I suppose. What build? Anyway, get to the point, Marks. I want to build an eco house. I want to have passive heating, and I want to be able to be off grid, pretty much. Probably still be on grid, but just for backup purposes. But I'd like to be pretty much running off grid. Definitely with water and stuff like that. Because we are now actually with water. We're about 70% efficient on the electricity here, but we're running on a well water, so we don't have any mains water. So we have a pumped system with tanks and stuff, which seems to work really well. Well, we've been doing it for the last 12 odd years, so yeah. Apart from 1 year, did freeze 1 year. That wasn't so good, and the pump expanded and it's cracked. The pump sits on top of there's like a cylinder. It's like a pressure cylinder that maintains constant pressure in the house, but the pump sits on the top of that. And unfortunately, it got so cold one day. I think that was 2012. I think it was. The pump froze. The water inside just froze inside and just split the pump in two, or split the front part in half. So that wasn't so good. We weren't that happy about that. So okay then. So we've got this, which is that this is going to be think that being the panel in the door. That's what that's going to be. So now I need to think of how am I going to support this so it can end up being used as that cupboard door. And we've got this horrible foil on the back, so I have to think whether or not I'm going to put a backing on it. I think I'd like to put a backing on it, but like I said earlier, I don't want to spend any money. And because I don't want to spend any money, I'm going to use what I've got. So if I was going to put a backing board on there, I could use that bit of plywood I showed you a minute ago, but it's not going to be wide enough, so I'll have to join it somehow. I'm not too worried, but I want to just stick it on the back even. It's long enough to do 2 strips. So might just stick it on, literally glue it onto the back of that, and butt the joint up and just don't worry about it. It's going to be inside the cupboard. Does it really matter? Probably not. You know, I think that would look better, or probably that way up. I think it's got the little veneer finish on there. Might get away with not actually putting anything on it. It's inside the cupboard, like I say, and the part of it's going to be covered by the wood. But at the moment, in some ways, it's a shame because at the moment it's got a nice oak door on it. A very similar shaker style. It's a shaker, not shaker. It's just plain oak door on that niche at the moment, which I built. But we do need a dry work board in there, and I could use the oak for something else. So that's, you know, it seems to make sense. So I think first of all, I need to give myself an idea of what we're going to need. So if I grab a tape measure, got to have a tape measure, ain't you? That you have. And a pencil. What's I done with a pencil? I had my nice pencil a minute ago. Oh my god. Where did I put that? Oh, I know I've done with that. I've left it in the house. What? I can't say that now, can I? So many words you can't say. Look, you're so careful now on YouTube. The worst bit is obviously within the first 7 or 8 seconds or something. You mustn't say anything, no profanity. You mustn't repeat profanity during the video either. You might get away once, maybe twice, but it mustn't be persistent. According to YouTube, lovely, isn't they? Anyway, the length has got to be 1067. 1067. 1067. Which means okay, it's got to be 1067. So we've got 1067. Then obviously I've got to take the size of the actual opening. So that's 1060. The opening is 1067, and this is what, a metre? Not even a metre, 860. This is 860. So I've got to take that from that. So that's 70 remainder, carry it over 207. So not allowing for the rebates, it's 207 millimeters of frame, top and bottom. That's a lot. That's going to be a bit, a bit big, a bit chunky. But it don't matter. It's going to have to be, because that's what I got. Like I said, I got more screws in there. Oh, another one there as well. Screws everywhere. Take that there. I'm scratching something. Probably me. Right, so put that over there as well. I've got 20 screws. So basically, the total length is 1067. This is only 860 in height. So that means I've got have 207. Is that right? 207? Yeah, 207. Of course it's 207. Yeah, 207. Oh my god. So I've got to gain about 100 at the top, plus the size of the rebate, which would be probably going to be about 10 millish. So plus the size of the rebate, because I don't know what the front edge is like. I'm going to have plenty of cover. So it's going to have to be 10 mil. So it's not going to be 207. It's going to be 227 probably. Crikey. So the bottom, whatever it is that ends up being the bottom, the rail is going to be deeper because that normally would be. And also put the dry white board at a better height. And the top rail, well, it's going to be whatever it is. So I might have to glue some rails up anyway to make up the height, top and bottom. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the 2 side rails. The two. One will be where it'll be hung on, and the other one will be the opening side. So, hello, Timothy. Language, Timothy, not just sawdust. What? Not just sawdust, he says. You still don't get the concept that if you make a door and close it, Other one opens. Oh, you're talking about double doors? Yeah, it does. I know. That's why you're supposed to catch it. If that's what you're talking about. Dee 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 dee. The Grillo says sleep power down mode. If so, since Windows XP, they always had issues. Turning USB ports back, or turning USB ports back on or working correctly after powering up again. Oh, that's interesting, Craig. Thanks for that, buddy. I'll check that out. Yeah, because I'm having problems with the cameras, you see. Problems with the cameras! It's not very helpful. No. Got 2 cameras not working now. And one of the cameras that wasn't working, I thought it was the camera, but it wasn't. Anyway, I complained. I said, this camera's not working. I can't use it on 1080p. No, I have to use it on 720 by 1080. Not 1080 by 1920. And do you know what they did? They sent me another one. So I got a camera for free because it was my computer after all, it seems. Yeah. So I've got extra cameras. That's gone into the into my office studio. So that's going to be like my dog cam. We're having a dog cam on the All Short show. So we will be going live for Sunday probably. Maybe it might even go live before. But we'll see. It's not because I own anything out. I must be mad. I'll tell you what, you can earn more on the paper round, I'll tell you. There you go. So I'm going to have to cut a couple of rails, which are 2 verticals, out of a piece of this. Like I say, this is volley board, so it's used for shutters, volleys en français. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces to the length. Should I do them to exact length or should I not? No, I'm going to do them to exact length for what I want. And then I'll have to trim off all these bits. I'm not going to trim off before I cut them to length. And there's a reason for that, because if there is any bend or any curve in this piece of wood, so let's say for instance I look down at, I'm looking down, I can get my winding sticks. I'll tell you what winding sticks are, and I can see there's a slight curve in it. But it's only very, very slight. Now, if I try to push this through the actual table saw, which is that machine there, to take off this tongue off the side, then the groove off that side, which I'll probably just need to remove a little bit of that actually, because I'm going to be putting a groove in it anyway. What will happen is it'll push against the fence because of the curve in the board. So you'll end up with an inaccurate cut. So what you do is, well, what I'm going to do, because I need to do it anyway, I'm going to cut the thing in half, or to the length that I want. We're basically splitting this into 2 bits of wood from end to end, and then you basically halving the error. So if you've got a bit of a curve, and it's got, I don't know, argument's sake, it's got, I don't know, a 2 metre radius, for instance. If I cut it in half, it'll have a 4 metre radius. You'll be splitting the difference. You're making the radius much bigger, less of an issue. Become straighter. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So so what I'll do is I'll cut it to length, and then I'll put it on the table saw to remove the bits and pieces I don't want, and then I might even run it through the thicknesser to clean it up so it's all the same width. Really, I should run the joint plane over, number 7 Stanley Bailey over it first, probably. Now, another live stream, I don't know if you can see behind me, there's a pile of wood over there on my bench. I've been pulled out of my racks. I've been pulled out the racks, it has, so I can make my windows. We've still got 3 windows to make in our house. Our bed, well, the 2 guest bedrooms and our bedroom. And we've been humming and hawing over it for ages. What we were going to do is take the window out of the bedroom, bring the stonework below the window down to the floor, so we can have a walk out into, create like a little bistro area outside. Then we realised we'll never get round to it because there's so many jobs, and we need a window that's not all gappy. Yeah, because that means got the original French windows in there, and they're a bit hadder, and it's got like 2mm picture glass, like greenhouse glass in it, old-fashioned glass. It's quite pretty in the sense that it's not perfectly flat, the glass, and you look at certain angles, you see it's handmade glass. But they've got to go because we need to conserve energy, and we'd like to have slightly warmer, it won't make a huge difference, but obviously slightly warmer bedroom. And also, all the windows are matched, and they'll all be nice. Well, the ones that are in there are oak, but they're painted. But it'd be quite nice to have all the same windows. But we've been toying over whether or not have 2 separate windows or 1. Now, we've already put a single fixed window downstairs in the kitchen. There's no point in opening because it's so far back, you can't reach it. so you won't be able to open it anyway. So the window above, we're going to make it as a single button opener, which is our bedroom window. But on the front, we're also going to do the same. We were going to have it so that 2 separate windows, like the traditional French ones. But we're going to lose... The windows are already small. They're tiny little windows. But you'll lose, what was it, about 180 mil? 160 to 180 mil width. Right down the middle of the window. Well, we can't afford to lose that amount of light, really, to be honest. It's just silly. Other than that, we'd have to knock the walls out. And I don't want to do it with the old stone walls, because, like in our bedroom window... It has all the original stone, traditional adds, corbelling and all the cornices and what have you. Not cornices, coins and the keystones, and also the original lintel. And we don't want to get rid of all that, because no. I mean, we're not really going to gain by it. So I don't know about you. We turn our lights out when we go to sleep. We're not we're not too worried about whether it's light in there. But anyway, that's what we're doing. So we're going to keep the same size. Also, I don't actually like... I've had this conversation with Caroline before. So I want you to knock this out and knock that out. So, well, if we do, okay, then, do you realise what we have to do to compensate? If we take this out of, put a bigger window in, like a window that's twice the size, obviously there's lintel to think about. But also, we've got stone walls. Stone walls with clay lump inside. So basically just like... They're basically stones stacked on top of each other. That's all they are, really. And because of that, then we've got clay infill. There's no... the structure is just that sheer mass. That's why it stands up. Because it's sheer weight and mass. As soon as you take a big lump out of it, all that load is going to be transferred from the roof, which is a big, heavy roof, is going to be transferred to a very narrow pieces of wall, which are just clay lump with stone in it. Or stone with clay lump, infill. And it's not stable. You'd have to put a lot of steel in to compensate and stuff like that. But you still make your wall unstable. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, definitely don't want to do that. It'll fall down. It's not like in the UK. When you're at brick houses. Well, you've got brick houses here as well. But if you've got a brick house, traditionally you build a brick house with what you call stretcher bond. And that's where you have, a brick butts up and another one. I need another brick. Yeah, that'll do. Bridges the gap, yeah, and then that replicates over your wall. You know what brickwork looks like, obviously. And but what happens with that is each brick transfers the load to the next brick. So, for instance, you can knock a hole in the wall without it all falling down, because the only bit that's likely to fall down is a triangle above that window. The rest of the load will pass on. Pass to the next brick, next brick, next brick. So you create this like pyramid above the window. And that's really what all you're really putting your lintel in for, really. Now, the days when this place was built, it's all oak lintels. All the lintels here are oak, because that's what they used to use. One part of the house is stone on the outside, but oak on the inside. Now, the thing with that is, they can only really go so big. Plus, the fact of the matter is that the glass, they didn't have the technology, the ability to make big panes of glass. So that's why you have all the little tiny panes, because they could make small panes of glass. And here in France, the structure of the windows is so lightweight. I mean, 30 mil thick is how thick a window is here. 30 millimeters, it's that. So it's oak, but it's still very, very thin. I think it's way too thin. That makes the windows twist. Now, if you had a big pane of glass in that same frame, and the windows could twist like that, the glass will crack. Whereas, they still crack mine, but whereas we've got separate panes, and for instance, our house has got 2 windows, generally speaking, with 3 panes in each side. But if they twist, each pane can twist. It has a movement. You basically get that moulding rail is actually splitting the difference between the each pane. Anyway, I'm mumbling along too much there. I really want to be doing some work. Timothy Simpkins, Wally having 40 winks in the corner. He is. Oh, he's a lovely little boy, is my Wally. Hello, Anurag Klangku. Oh, what a wonderful workshop you have there. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, watching from Thailand. Hello from Thailand. I hope you're well. And Jasper, I saw a big chop saw, a math felt. Oh, Tom, oh, crikey. With a planer. Oh, Interesting. Not for me. Ah. So is it a universal machine? A multi, like a kitty multi? That's a Maffal. Well, where was that? There's not many of them about. That would have been very expensive. Maffal machines are there. They're a lot of money. Yeah, anyway. I need to cut some wood. So first of all, I'm just going to go over there and cut that to length. I've got a tape measure. The one over there as well, probably. I've got a tape measure. I know the length. The length is 1067. Sounds like a date. First of all, what I'm going to do is just trim the end, make sure it's square. Nothing just went ping and pong. That's usually when a USB goes on and off. That's a bit ominous. 1067. Now these need to be the same length. So you put a bit of wood on the end there, then I can push them up against each other so they're both touching. And I get this on my line. I know it's going to be in line. I normally turn that off actually. Whoa. USBs are going crazy. That's not the camera. I hope it's not the camera. No, it's not the camera, thank God for that. Phew. Right. I don't know if you heard that, my USBs are going bing, 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 isn't very helpful. Hello, Mad Monk, I hope you're well. Mad Monk 33's in the house. How's it going? We're doing well, bud. I'm sorry I haven't been streaming my woodworking type stuffy recently. Because I've been a little bit preoccupied because I've been doing my shower room. And I can't really stream from there because it's too dark. And no room, and you're constantly bending over, and you'd have to see my butt all the while. You just really do not want to see that. So yeah, I've been doing that. So that's going to be kind of the sort of the plan. I've got to do the rebases yet, but I need to put stuff onto, allow for whatever I put on there. The bottom rail is going to be obviously deeper than the top rail. That's how it's supposed to be. It looks strange we have them both the same. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the tongues off these and get these ready for the rebate. Because how I'm going to do this is I'm going to fix joint the hung side, but the opening side, I might do it the other way around actually, whatever way around I do it, don't really matter I suppose. I'll be dry. It'll be a dry joint. And the reason for that is if I ever want to replace this board, for whatever reason, it's a dry weight board, remember, they don't last forever. They go a bit, well, they can go a bit mucky, can't they? And they just lose all their usefulness. And at that point, I'd want to get rid of it and maybe replace it. Or maybe it might end up with plywood in it instead. So, we'll see. Have you found a Wally? My dear watch is coming in! Oh no! Quick! Put my clothes back on! No? You found my Wally? Oh dear. Spoiled he is. He's spoiled! He's got a sausage. Wally just got a sausage. Oh, no, he's going over there. Oh, if you get another one now, Wally. Okay. Right, so first of all, we'll get what I'm doing, don't I? Let's take the tongues off there. I've got to do it on the other boards as well, but I'm going to have to glue them up probably. So, I might have to do this over a couple of streams, but we're going to be, all this wood here is going to end up being windows. There's enough there to do 3 window frames, and then I've got to make the windows themselves, the openers. So that looks a lot straighter now, as it does. Oh, something else I want to show you, because you might not know this. You've obviously seen people do this. They eye down a piece of wood like that. Yeah, oh yeah, that's okay. Oh, that's not too bad, that's all right. But let's say, for instance, you want to be a bit more accurate than that. You can do a thing called, you can use a thing called winding sticks. Now, I don't know where mine are, because I made some in college years ago. And what winding sticks are is a way of exaggerating the error, or the twist, or the bend in your piece of wood. So think of it being a lot long, about twice the length of that. and then you put another one on the other end. And what you do is you eye between the two, and if they don't line up with each other, which they do, well, then you've got a twist in your piece of wood. It makes it a lot easier to see. And they're called winding sticks. If you're a woodworker, they're quite handy things to have if you're doing anything accurate. But I don't care about this as long as it opens and closes. And it holds a dry whiteboard. So I'm just going to stick that there. I'll move that camera around in a second. I'll swap it. I'm going to swap the camera. We're going to go onto that camera. That's what we're going to do. Oh. No, is that one? Was that another one that isn't working? No, it's not that one. It's that one. No, it's not that one. It's that. No, it's that one. La da da da. Yep, I think it's that one. Which is also frozen. Oh, God, what's going on here? Deactivate. Activate. Right. Yeah, that camera's playing up now. I've got a problem with I'm going to try what you said. See what's going on there. I normally turn this machine right off though, that's the thing. Okay. No, that's not doing it. So I can't use that camera. I'm losing cameras one by one, I am. That's not very helpful, is it? Not at all. Right, so that camera's gone. Where's that one plugged into? That one plugs in over here. Let's try that. Actually, that's a dodgy USB, that one is. It might work if I turn the USB back on and off. Not turn it on and off, I mean unplug and plug it back in again. Technical sign. Term. Activate. Ah, we're back. Okay, we're back. I think. Hey, good. Oh, God's sake. Oh, I need some better this. I'll tell you what would be quite handy. I'm not going to do it because I can't afford to do it because it's too much money anyway. I can't warrant it. But HDMI cameras with a Blackmagic APC Mini or something like that, because then you can use any HDMI camera output, and you can strip with it with the Pro version. I think the Mini Pro you can stream directly from it, which is quite good. Right, so I'll run them two through. Use that or use a push stick. I might use my push stick. Yep. Long it goes through there. That's a better thing to use if you can use it. Let's show you though. That is. So I'm going to turn it on. Remember, look. Did you see that? No riving knife and no guard. Oh dear. Terrible. I know. Just always make sure your saw has a guard, and always make sure you keep your fingers well away from the blade because they cut the fingers off, you see. Yeah. And always make sure you've got a riving knife. Although for what I'm doing, you wouldn't need a riving knife. But, yeah. Riving knife sounds like a little bit of metal, pointy bit of metal at the back of the blade. Riving knife. This machine is a terrible, terrible design for that. Ah! It's gone loopy. What's going on? Yeah, it's gone loopy. Something's seriously gone wrong with my computer, isn't there? Yeah, that one don't want to know, does it? It's really annoying, this is, you know. Back again. Might just be a bad connection. Might be. It went off just as I turned the saw on. Maybe it's interference. I have to keep my eyes on that. I'll tell you what I might have to do. I might do a reload, completely reinstall Windows on that machine. See if that helps. So we'll remove the tongue because we don't need it. But also, if you look here, there's this, well, it's got a bit of a, well, the arrows is taken off there, the arrows is taken off there. Hey, what's going on there? We're on the wrong camera. Oh, no, I'm not. It's the right camera, sorry. my eyesight. So I'll take an arrow off there, that arrow off there. I can do it partly on the saw, which I might just do. Pandora's going woof. Alright. Because I want a bit of all the shaker look, so I don't want all these arrows off, because it just looks cheap and nasty, like a little tacky. Don't like it. Don't like it! Covered in sawdust already. That blade needs to sharpen. I'll have to do that. Might do it next time. Right, so we're now removed some of the slot or the groove in there. I don't need to remove it all because I'm going to put a new one in there to accommodate the driveway board. So that will all be gone anyway. But what I do want to do is make sure that the two sides are parallel. I know they should be because of that. But I can make doubly sure by putting it through the thicknesser. And that way it will be the same thickness all the way along. So I just want to see how straight it is. Isn't too bad. It's a bit of a... Oh, stuff in between it. It's not too bad. It'll be good enough. I might have to compensate for that way's better. So that way be opposing. Yeah, that'd be opposing it. So that way it's going with it. So it fits better. So we'll take you to the thicknesser, which is literally just here. Oh, it's here. It's the one with the big snout. There it is. So I'll put them through there. I've got a digital gauge here, but the thing is, on these batteries. Oh, what's happened to that? So I have to use a handle. Understand here. Now I know that those boards cover around 90mm. I think I get down to probably about around 90mm. So we're going to plane one face first. Oh, went far off the mark. A couple of turns. Might be enough. Let's have a look. I reckon that needs another turn of the handle. There you go. If you've got a thicknesser, never put two bits of wood through the thicknesser at the same time, especially not like that. The reason for that is, if one piece of wood is slightly thicker than the other, wider than the other, it'll push against the feed roller, and you might get one bit of wood getting left behind, because it'll be skipping on that one and pushing that one through instead. If you do want to put two in for each at the same time, put one at one side of the table like that, and then one at this side of the table, like that. The reason for that is, it won't work on it, it'll store pressure on the end. That's where the pressure's put on by the springs and the adjusters. So now we have two bits of plain wood. Let's start. We've obviously got to do the top and bottom rails as yet. So one is going to be one oak, and one's going to be one rail. Sorry, rail. One style, and the other one, and the style for the other side. So let's go back over here. Bring you with me. There you go. There we are. Back to the bench that we are. When I got that other camera, I thought, oh, okay, well, let's have the one that was faulty. You see, because it only worked on 720. Put it on one, say, the right arm saw or something. It wouldn't matter so much. And the other one, I was going to, you know, put somewhere else. You know, onto another machine. Maybe onto the bandsaw or something. and then we had all these problems, as in things keep breaking. It's not very helpful, you know, don't you? It's not very helpful at all. Now, there's a bit of a query, a bit of a problem in the sense that for some reason the niche, probably built that way, is not parallel. So I've got two options. I can make up my error by altering the angle, right, like that, and keeping these parallel, which I might do, might not. I think I will do actually, because it's such a small amount. When I say a small amount, it's 12mm difference from top to bottom. So at the top we've got 598 at the top, 598, which is about there, and at the bottom I think it's about 610, and 610 at the bottom. So it's 12mm. So it's about there ish. Well, that looks silly, probably. It's 12. I don't think you really notice. It's either that, or I split the difference by planing it on, keeping that parallel, which really is a better thing to do, really. I'll do that. It'll be easier on the joints. Yeah, so I'll make it to 610 then, basically, and then we'll plane it down, you know, so it fits at 598. So it'll be a pyramid-y sort of shape, not trapezoid. No, a pyramid shape. So we know what that's got to be then. We can say 610. And these are just going to be butt jointed. Yeah, because I'm going to use my domino downer. Now, there's various other ways you can do this. One way would be to, obviously mortise and tenon joints, which we could, we could use the mortiser if we do mortise and tenon joints. You know what? We might do that instead. Yeah, I think we will. Because that way I can show you using the mortiser. It'll slow me down a bit because the domino downer is brilliant. It's really fast. But it doesn't matter. Right, so we need 610. So we're going to need some rails. Oh no, the rails are going to be quite large. Oh dear. Because this isn't long enough, is it? Plenty wide enough, but it's not long enough. Yeah. So this is going to be trimmed down quite a bit in its width. Which is quite good. Well, that'll be fine. It's going to lose about 100mm in its... No, more than that. 150mm in its width, it'll lose. It's going to lose its girth! Right, so over at the moment, this was 860 long, wasn't it, did I say? 860? Right, 865. Well, let's say 860, that's nearest down it. 860. So I need to work out how wide the bottom and the top rail. The top rail is probably going to be 1.5, and the bottom rail probably twice thereabouts. So we can bring this together, because that way we can transfer our marks easier. So I know I need 86 in the middle there somewhere. We know that we can get this down to 90mm. Like I said earlier, so 86 has got to be in there somewhere. So let's say that's going to be the bottom. And I need 86mm. So I could, got to make some decisions. I don't want to make a decision. I'm going to have to make a decision. La 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 la. Hello, Medman. Hey, Mark. What are you doing? It could be your USB cables or dirt in the ports. I've had that problem with dirt in the port. Oh, the other dirty ports as well. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I often blow. I often blow out the dirt on my dirty port. Yeah. Yeah. Do you blow your door? No, you can't. Oh, okay. Hello, Big Joe. Howdy. And Bernard. Hello, Bernard. I hope you're well, buddy. And yeah. So yeah, I know it could be that. I think I have got a problem with one of the USB 3 ports on the top of the computer. That they do tend to be a bit crappy. Yeah, they're a bit crappy. They are. Right. So Is that camera still working, or is it just gone loopy? Oh, it's still working. Oh, thank God for that. Thank God for that. So, shouldn't really say that, I'm an atheist. Alright, so it's going to be 90. Say that argument set that argument sake the top rail is going to be same as the side rails, argument's sake. And I know I've got to make up quite a bit. I need 86 from there. So plus I've got to allow for the rebate, so it's going to have to come over by another 10mm. Because that's the size of the slot it's going to be. It's not rebate, it's a slot. And then 86 here, but then I've got to lose 10mm to 85. Which is going to be about there. So at the moment, if I did that proportion, I would have to go 14. Well, 290s make, well, 16, don't they? 18, sorry, 18. 18. So I can get 18 out of 2 there. But the excess off that one, I could put onto that one. I could balance it out a little bit. So what I think I'll end up doing is gluing together 3 bits of wood all together in one piece. And then from that, once it's gone off, I can then think to myself, okay, then I'll rip that down into the sizes that I want. So this is going to be project is not going to be all done today. It can't be. Not with that mindset. So I need to think how long do I need them to be? Well, I know it's 610, don't I, for the actual overall width. You know, because the opening's 610 in width. So I've got to allow for that. I've got to allow for my mortises, which won't need to be ridiculously deep. If they were 2-inch deep, actually 50mm would be plenty. So let's move this to 610, because we know it's 610 to there. And I'll think to myself, oh, if I'm going to 50mm there for my mortise, don't even need 40 on that, it'd be loads on a cupboard like that. Let's go 40. I could go 50, but I'm going to go 40. And then 40 on there. So argument's sake, if I made these 55, I'll allow a bit excess. So basically what I'm saying is if I cut loads of bits of wood, they're 55mm long, 3 pieces, glue them together, and then I can rip them down into 2 varying widths pieces of wood. So I get more weight on the bottom, so the bottom rail's heavier or thicker or wider than the top rail. So it doesn't look a bit disproportionate. Because if you have a door, you always have a wide at the bottom. Oh, it looks like a picture frame, doesn't it? I don't want it to look like a picture frame. I want it to look like a door, like a cupboard door, not a picture frame. That's my plan, anyway. I've already forgot what I said. 55, didn't I? Times 3. So, double check that, because I start jabbering and then I kind of forgot. You know what they say? Measure twice, cut once. 55. Yeah, 55. That's it on pencil. So I'll cut 3 bits at 55mm in length. Oh, so I'll go over here. Motorise that camera, motorise. What makes that material different than all the tongue and grooves is the actual tongue and grooves are loose. They're not like tight like you get on like tongue groove board flooring, which is which have got a tight joint. But with photo boards are quite a loose tongue and groove. Reason for that is so they can move with the weather. Anyway, I'm gonna find and if I see first whether or not I have got through here some offcuts before I start cutting into length. I'm going to see if I've got some bits long enough. That isn't long enough, and it's too thin. I've run it through the planer, so that's no good. That's too short. What about a bit over there? There's a bit over here. I found another bit. You wonder where I am? I'm next door in the other barn, where I've got some offcuts, and it's one hell of a mess. I'll say some offcuts. Here's offcuts. That'd be one. That could be one. Got one. You see, you always cut material. I don't unless you can get, you know, an accumulative. You can use more value out of your wood by cutting that into a whole length. Unless you can do that, you don't want to do it. So I'm going to cut into shorter bits. which will leave me more short bits, which I'll probably make into bird boxes. Because I've got loads of bird boxes to make. I need to start making them now, really. I could have been doing that today, couldn't I? Right, so I found 3 bits of wood here. So I've got 3 bits of wood, which are going to be cut down into 55s in length, and then I'm going to glue them up. That's what we'll do. That's what we're going to do. So over here we go. So I'm going to cut these to 55s. I can put a stop in if I want, make it easier. Use that. Where's my clamp gone? You've got a clamp here, that's disappeared. Pesky. Who did it? Oh, I bet that's Caroline. Let's blame Caroline. She's not here. Caroline, you did it. It's your fault. Get back there. This isn't an exact measurement, so it doesn't really matter, so I'll do it to whatever, that's fine. But I'll do it to whatever, whatever fits, whatever works. Now all these little scraps I've got over here, all these little bits of, oh God, I've my camera again. Arrgh! It's annoying. Did you know that? Right, unplug it. Plug it back in again. I've got to go back into the walkie cam. Okay. Yeah, it's really not happy, is it? It's getting worse and worse and worse. Obviously, I think P. Dulles was right. I think he was right. I think there's an error. It's having problems signing the ports. I know one of them is dirty as well, though. It's just probably a mix of both. See all these offcuts over there? I use them. They don't go to waste. I don't waste anything, mate. All gets used. I make small things as well as bigger things. I'll do that one. Now on this bit of wood there's a knot on the end. Now I don't want to be, when I'm making my tenons, have a knot on it. So I'm going to cut from the other end, which doesn't have a knot on it. So we have 3 bits of wood. 3 little piggies! You might just saw my butt crack. I just bent over and it escaped. I have to tame it occasionally, you know. Beat it into submission. That's what you got to do. Oh dear. I've been uploading loose shorts on the other side. Things have changed now on YouTube, though. We can earn a little bit, not very much, but we can earn a little bit of money now on the little vertical shorts, on the all short shorts. Yeah, my bum keep hanging out. God, one day I might be skinny, and I won't be trying to escape. Yeah, maybe one day. Oh, dreamy it is. I wasn't always fat. You're not in the best place though, are you? Bring it up there. Bring you over a little bit. Try not to pull on that USB. Whatever it is, it's not happy. The USB is not happy on this computer. Oh no, I've done it again. I just heard something go off and on. Well, that camera's still on, so that's a good sign. Oh, Wally! Did it drop on your head, Wally? No. Do you want it to? No. Just in case you know what I'm talking to. Well, you know what I'm talking to, but it's a little fella down here. Hello, Wally. Is it because you want another treat? Is it? Eh? Do you want another treat, Wally? Do you? Huh? Your face. Okay. Okay. I've got to cut that bit off as yet. Where's the treats gone? What? I've brought some treats in there. So they're over here. Oh, you come over here now, are you? You always think with your tummy, don't you? That's what I used to do. Is that why you got as fat as me? Alright, you're going to have to work for it, though. Pirouette. Hey, good boy. That's a pirouette. Yeah. That's not bad for an old fella, is it? You like them, don't you? I know. You want more, don't you? You look for more? No, where are you going? He's going over there. Where's he going? Oh, Wally, where off to? Are you found the treats? Have you found the treats, Wally? Oh, I know where they are. They're up there, aren't they? They're on that planer. That's what he's saying, and he's right because they're just there. Oh dear, what am I going to do with him, eh? The problem is I can't say no. You know. He twists me round his little thing. Paw. He does. Right, let's put it back where I was supposed to be. I'll get all tangled up here. Oh, God, wireless cameras would be so handy, wouldn't they? It'd be so much easier. But then they'd probably play up, wouldn't they? Technology issues again. What are you on for, Wally? Or was that a silly question? Anyway, where are we? We're not on... Oh, God, I'm doing well. I should have moved it, should I? Not there, not there, not there. Right, I'll see. That'll do. Right, just got to whip that one side off now. I don't have to go mad. We can run it through the plane, and as long as we can get enough glue on there, we glue them up. He's still sitting around. He's still looking at me. What am I going to do with him? I don't know. Him and Wally, him and Sebastian. Sebastian keeps snapping at Wally for some reason at the moment. I don't know what's going on. I know it's like a, I don't know. They all own me, kind of thing. And you know, if Bear's under my desk, and my legs, Wally wants to sit in front of the fire or something. He's not even trying to get under the desk. Sebastian just come out and snap at him. Never used to do that. Never ever. It's just happened the last couple of weeks. So yeah. La 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 la. Okay. A little bit more. I was watching Question Time last night. I have to admit that was quite funny to watch. I can't remember what her name was now. I had Ian Hislop on there, but there's a lady on there. She says about she's going about processing peas. Yes, processing peas. She hates that when people are described as being processed. When there you go. When people are described as being processed when they're waiting for asylum. So she says, if you don't process people, you process peas. Or words to that effect. So what we're going to do, we'll glue this together. Now, there's a bit of a slot left in there still, so we'll put the outside edges. That camera seems to be working okay. And then I'll glue this one up just like that. So then outside edges, and then just like that. And then what we'll do is, once the glue's gone off, we'll basically have one side be wide, and a little bit of this will go onto that one. So the top rail will be a little bit heavier than the side rails. That's my plan. I think it's a plan. I hope it comes together. Because I do like it when a plan comes together. Right, so although I was using the thickness, I'm not 100% happy that it's going to be particularly good in the sense of being true. There's various ways of doing this. I'll tell you what, I'll bring back over camera, I think. Not that one. Not that one either. Which one's it there? That one? No, that one? Yes, it's that one. So we'll bring this camera back over here onto above my vice. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the plane over it, and I want to show there's a technique you can do when you're trying to join two bits of wood together to make sure that they marry up with each other. One way is you use a square, because this needs to be 90 degrees. Yeah, if you do each board individually, it needs to be 90 degrees. Otherwise, you could end up with a bit of a wonk, aren't you? It's going to be all higgledy-piggledy. But there's other techniques you can do to actually stop that from being a problem. So let's bring it back around a little bit more. And a bit up a bit. This camera used to be really wide. Let's bring it back a bit. So, and now I've got all that burnout over there now. Crikey. Let's move that round. Better. Yeah. Oh, so many things to think about. Right, anyway. Oh, no, this one's going loopy now. Look, again. Oh, dear. Let's go back on that camera. All right, well, hopefully this one doesn't go loopy. This one go loopy? Might do. It's quite possible. All right, there we go. So, one way you true it up with your square and make sure it's 90 degrees, so then you obviously don't get the coombs of error. The other way you can do it is you can get two pieces of wood, right, and plane them at the same time. Because if you're going skew-if on one, you're likely to be doing it on the other one, which means they'll both be the same angle. So if you reverse them, when they go together, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit like that, because it'll still be flat. So there you go. What we'll do is, the best way of doing this actually is getting two bits of wood like that. To make it easy, you can actually a bit of double-sided sticky tape there and there, yeah? And you literally just stick them together like that, temporarily, obviously. Then so they stay together as you try to move them and stuff. But I'm not doing that. I'm just going to stick it in there like so. All right. Now, luckily, this plane is nice and wide. It's a 2.5 inch, 60-odd mm plane, as in the width of the plane iron. So it will plane the entire width of your piece of wood. So if I do go off a little bit, go a bit skew-iffy, well then it won't matter so much. I'm just double checking that my plane iron is true. Make sure it's poking through the same on both sides. Nearly. Type. Okay. And then we'll just bring the plane iron out a little bit, because I feel it's too deep at the moment. So I'd like to do a pass or two of it really shallow. And if I feel like I want to take more off, I'll then increase the depth of cut. I don't advise people try and go in hard to start with, because it just hides to nothing. So I'm just like touching it, skimming it. Use the your adjuster on the plane. It's on behind the frog of the plane. And as you see at the moment, it's not taking off a clean shaving, and it should take off two reasonably clean shavings. But it's not at the moment because it's not flat, and that's why I'm actually doing it in the first place. At the moment, it's taking more off one side than the other. Pine's not. It's one of the worst timber. Isn't the worst, but it's one of the worst timbers to. This is like hemlock. I think this is. Yeah, some sort of fir, northern fir. It's still not. I'm trying to get two even shavings. At the moment, I still seem to be taking more off one side than the other, but that doesn't actually matter because of the way we're doing this. Because we've got the two bits of wood together like so. It don't matter if that's not true, and it's not true. So, if I can prove a point here now, it's not going back in the vice like that, not on that face. But if I look at each individual one of these, I haven't actually managed to plane that true. Well, not to see it, but there's a very, very slight gap. It's probably more obvious if I go across the two. You get an accumulative error. You can't really see it. You just about see it. Actually, it's not far off at all. It's not far off at all anyway. But if there was if it was, each of these end up being at a bit of an angle, as long as you put the angle in the opposite direction, when you put the piece of wood together, they'll still be flattened across the top. That is the point, basically. So you put that across there like so, and you put your straight edge on there like that. At the moment, there's a bit of a hump. So if I flip that round, then bring it together, and I do that. Now, that's it, and that's flat. So one way, there's a gap underneath in the middle, underneath here. Well, if I just show you a bit better, if I bring you a bit closer, a bit lower. Bring in. Actually, not on that camera. What am I talking about? That camera won't do, Lally, so I can't show you. Right, I can show you. I will show you. So let's go two. So we're on two. Bum 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 bum. Eeny meeny miny mouse. Grab one of these. Right. So if I clamp those two together, I'm just doing this just so I can show you what I mean. And clamping it just gives me like an extra pair of hands. Right. Now, there's the. It's flat. Right, so if I put that there, it's got a bit of a rock in it. If you look there, that's got a bit. I don't see that, but it's actually got a bit of a rock in it. Yeah, but if I reverse that, it should. But it doesn't. So the problem when you do live, you can't edit it out, can you? Any errors, any mistakes you make, everyone sees. It's like warts and all, isn't it? You know. Who's not see my wart? Alright, that's right. And that on there like that. Let's clamp that together again. Yeah. And now there's no rock. There's no rock. The rock is gone. So anyway, that's what you can do. If you haven't got the skills, but you can plane a piece of wood, but do two at a time, put two faces together. And obviously, what I don't want to do, I don't have a situation where I forget where I've been with this. So I'll grab a pencil and just, put a little squiggle like that across the two bits of wood. So I do those two go together then, otherwise I'm going to get confused later on. So now I need to glue that one to this one. that can go to outside that tongue, because I will use it. I will make use of it. Now I want those two to go together like so. But first of all, I need to plane them, and I'll do it in the same way because it works. So plane them together, and then you fit, make sure it's low enough, in the vice. Otherwise, you can end up with this situation where you're kind of trying to, where you get this gap. If you get this gap between the two like that, I don't know if you see it, there's a gap between two bits of wood. If that doesn't disappear when it's in the vice, or it gets worse, it's not going to work, because you're basically oppose an opposite angle. It's not going to work in this case. We'll put that way around like so. Yeah, that's it. That's doing it. Right, so we're playing that together like so. Right, you don't want that moving the vice, so make sure it's relatively tight. So it moves in the vice once, you don't get it back again, you've got to start again. So it's time for just planing. Normally I'll check the angle of the grain. I want to say something that's a bit controversial. And there's something I've noticed. I might be reading too much into it, possibly. But there's something I've definitely noticed on my videos. It might have nothing to do with it. It might just be the topic's not that great. But, unfortunately, whenever I upload a video on the other channel, I've done this several times before, and every single time it's the same. If I use an image of a minority group, no matter what it is, but in particular, well, I upload a video, a picture of my granddaughter on there, and I think there's more. I think there's a lot of people that won't click on. Oh, it makes it sound I'm tarnishing loads of people being racist, but I do feel. Well, that's what it seems like to me, that people don't click on it because there's a picture of a black girl. Call it what you like, but it's just every single time. There's got to be more into it. And I've uploaded a lot of it. I've done about 20, maybe 30 videos and done that. Done maybe more than that, actually, on the other channel. They're not live anymore. Because I got banned in for 7 days on the other channel for being a naughty boy. But unfortunately, they never ever get the views. They don't get the click-through rate. That's the problem. They sometimes get the views, but not the click-through rate. So then they won't progress. So anyway, because that video yesterday, I uploaded yesterday, a picture of my granddaughter. It's been the slowest, and the click-through rate is 4%. That's normally around 15% click-through rate on my videos. If I bother to put a card on, otherwise I usually around 10%. But not 4. And as a matter of curiosity, I had a look at some of the other ones last night because I was having a discussion with my daughter about it, and because she's had some she's had some racist issues regarding the family, and yeah. Anyway, that's not great, is it? I don't think so. Anyway. So, I need glue. Where have I put my glue? Oh, I know, it's in the blooming house. Might have to run and get that in a second. So I'm forgetting about you guys. Hello, Bernard. Hello, Wally. What are your USB problems? The power supply could be insufficient for the amount of your camera's drawn. Yeah, I did think about that one, buddy. Because I've on this machine here, the USB. I bought a USB card, but that takes the power off the power supply. It has an extra cable, you plug it in, so it's not just say like a multi-watts. It all comes straight off the motherboard. It's on the PCI card. That can't run any more than 2, even though it's got 6 on there, it can only run 2 cameras. But I think that's more to do with bandwidth. The other one I've got at the top there, that will also run 2 cameras, but that doesn't have an external power supply, which obviously won't help. yeah, I can't obviously be up. I cannot afford to change this machine. I really can't. Whether it's a machine or I don't know, or whether there's another situation. But it could be that. It could be power, not enough power to run the cameras. But that it seems to be like it's getting like normally they just won't turn on normally. But I've had like interference, like almost like well, you saw earlier. It's just bizarre. An old TV set. So anyway, I'm gonna grab the glue. Oh, hang on, it's over there. No, it's not. Is there one over there? No, it's not. I've got a spare one, but I keep it in the house because that'll freeze otherwise. And you don't want your glue to freeze. No, because it'll turn into pots of cheese. Powdered resin wood glue. No one's seen me use powdered resin. I keep talking about it. But let's use some powdered resin wood glue. Because I've got some. Have I got some out, or have I going to have to get some? I might have some in the pot. I normally buy it in a sack, you see. Oh, we've got some in here. Powdered resin wood glue. And I'll use a yoghurt pot. And then I need a mixing stick. Have I got a mixing stick? Or have I got a tiny bit of wood to cut? Da, da, da. I might have to put yoghurt pots everywhere. Anyway, this is powdered resin wood glue, like Cascamite. And I buy it in a sack, which is over here. Literally buy 20 kilos of it. At the time it's 20 kilos, 20 or 25 kilos. 25 kilos, like that. That's how I buy it. Yeah. So I get a big old sack like that, and I decanter it into the pots. Unfortunately, that particular Cascamite isn't as good as the stuff I've had in the past. But I do need something to make a mixing stick out of. That'll do. One mixing stick. Ba 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 ba. Well, yeah, I did. Oh, a video went up, didn't it? About when did that go up? Oh. Did I put one up there? Did it go on yet? I've put several videos up there. I've been doing shorts now, but I don't know. I've turned the notifications off to a lot of the videos that are on shorts. Yeah. So yeah. I noticed that too. During the long video yesterday, I got interrupted 3 times for ads. Really? I haven't changed any settings. What I'll have to do, I'll have to go and have a look in the settings and see whether or not they've actually automatically put them in or something, because I opt out of mid-roll ads, and that is just annoying. If they're doing it without, YouTube has just gone. They within the terms, they retain the right. If they've got, for instance, excessive ads to put out or something, they retain the right to do it. So I don't have their control. I'm opting out, but don't mean to say they have. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. 3 ads, that's a lot. I know it was a long video, but 3 ads, that's too much. In the middle of the video as well, that's way too much. That's one of the reasons I don't always watch. Well, it's actually one of the reasons I definitely, well, apart from other reasons actually, Phil Morehouse. That's one of the reasons I stopped watching, because the ads keep popping up, and also, and I like this guy as well, a bowl hat man. You know, he's a lovely lad. But I just can't be dealing with it. So I'll have a look, because I don't want that. I just think people just click away if they see ads. If they get ads part way through. That just hurts the video. That's my feeling. You know, YouTube make enough money as it is. You know, they tie us around in knots. Have you been streaming? For over an hour? I hope yes, we have. So is it an hour? I don't know how long. Not that long. It's not very long. It might be an hour. Oh God, yes, an hour and 20 minutes. I do apologise. I'll have to make sure I get your permission. Anyway, so we're going to mix some glue, some Cascamite powdered resin wood glue, and we're going to use this camera for the minute, because the other one has decided to go loopy. He's going to need to sort my computer out, it seems. There's always something, isn't there? Anyway, this is powdered resin wood glue, And no, it's not Corinne de Corinne de Farm. No, they're bath crystals. It's just the pot I put it in. It's a white powder, all right. It's not particularly safe because it's carcinogenic. So I've been using stuff for years. Normally I'd wear a mask, and well, I'll just do it all from distance because obviously what better show. I can't talk with the mask on. Tell what we'll do though. I'll put that on. Not linger for too long. But it's a good glue. Actually, some people say it's carcinogenic, some people say it isn't. So I don't know what one's what really. It's urea formaldehyde. It's basically the same concept or the same resin that they use for bandages. You know the bandages they dunk in water and they wrap it in your leg. The fiberglass bandages. It's pretty much the same method of hardening. So I do it back to front. I put the powder in, then the water. I don't. They say in the instructions, do the water, then add the powder slowly. I've had so many failures with that. Whereas this way it works. So then I just stir it until I'm happy with it. I normally put less water in, really, to start with. Now, I bought this bag of Cascamite during lockdown. And it's not as good as what I had the previous time, the previous bag. By no means. One thing, it mixes differently. It feels like they've added another medium into it, which isn't actually a part of the glue, if you know what I mean. It's like they've added thinned it out with flour or something. That's what it feels like to me. It's not the same as it used to be. It just isn't. By no means. It still works, it still glues wood together, but it is not as strong as it used to be. And I contacted them about it, and they told me because of the lockdowns, blah 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 blah, they had to try different ingredients because they couldn't get hold of the stuff they needed to make the stuff. Well, I wish they told me before I spent a huge amount of money on a 25 kilo sack. It's not cheap stuff. Because now I'll use it for joints. It's still good for joints, so it's plenty strong enough for that. Because it doesn't compress. It's a very hard glue. But I don't normally use it for glue up anymore. I bought it outside because it's waterproof. But yes, I do use it. But not as much as I would have done. I used to use it all the time for everything. But it's not as good as it used to be. It's definitely not as good. Really, I should leave that for a while and let that glue rest for a bit so I can absorb the powder. I forgot about that. So, okay, there's enough. I'm pretty certain there's enough glue there. So I'm going to just put it to one side for a second. They're ready to go. We're going to probably do warts and tenon joints, so we can use the mortar over there that we restored the other week. And one side, when we put it together, one side of the door is going to be dry, so it'll be dry joints, and the other side of the door will be glued. So effectively what we'll do is we'll create a C shape, like a C-shaped house, like a Mexican sea house. So a C-shaped frame, and the other bit will be just fixed with screws. Probably in the jam, maybe. They'll probably use 2 long screws in each side, but with a joint, maybe not a mortise joint though, a mortise and tenon joint, it might not work very well. It would do, it might be right. Yeah, it might be right. But it'll be dry, there'll be no glue in it. The reason for that is so we can take the frame apart and then change the dry white board, which is going to be going inside it at a later date if I want to. If I need to, that is. So anyway, I was talking about houses earlier, wasn't I? I was talking about that we're considering building an eco house. But I'm thinking what sort of construction materials we could use, because they use a lot of like clay pot here. So it's like the horrible clay, yeah, well, like clay blocks, hollow clay blocks, and they're ghastly, expensive as well, and ghastly. If we start using a lot of materials that we don't really want to use, and I want to make it low impact, so I want to think about the footings and all that sort of stuff as well. So maybe use pilings, but not have to do a huge amount of excavation for footings. So I'll probably think about doing PEPS panels, which are basically a sandwiched insulation sandwich between either plywood, Stirling board, or oriented strand board OSB, or some kind of that kind of material anyway for your internal and external structure, and then you have your framework in that, and you can pre-wire it and everything. You see, at the point while it's on the bench. So I'd create a modular house. That's the idea. So I really like that really simple, modern. It just looks like a box, like it just landed there with like all glass one side, so glass windows all down one side of it, say facing or whatever it might be, and it's just like someone just put it there. But then blend it in with obviously with planting and stuff like that, because we're not going to, if we do this, we're not going to if we do sell the house, we're not selling all that land with it, you see, because we want to make sure we can keep an eye on, maintain look after the trees. So we want to buy, if we do get a bit of land, we'll do it locally, and then build a house on that. If we can get planning on it, well, first, we need to get habitation on it first. So basically, how it starts in France, you can buy a bit of land, or you can buy a bit of agricultural land and apply for it, where you ask for the right to build something habitable on that piece of land. And there's rules and stipulations depending where you are and stuff like that. And then you go to the next stage where you put your planning permission in what you're going to build on that piece of land. So yeah, it can all go to pot quite easily. Anyway, that has now absorbed everything now. I think I might have to add a little bit more. It's a bit strange because normally it gets wetter, not drier. A bit bizarre. I'm not too optimistic about that glue. Put more water in it. It's not something you normally do with cast. Oh, that's better. That's loads better. Not something you normally do with cast point. Normally, what happens with it, as you mix it, it's bizarre stuff. It's normally gets more glossy and wetter the more you mix it. So I've got a funny feeling it might have gone off, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Not too. Yeah, it feels like paste. It don't feel right to me. It's not right at all. I'm not convinced. In some ways, I think, well, no, I'm not convinced at all. That's not how it should be. This is how it goes. If you look at that roller, that's what I've used that roller on cast pipe. It goes like a clear resin. I don't know if this. I'm not convinced. I think that glue's gone off. That's a shame. There's a lot in there as well. It isn't very warm, so that might not be helping. I might have to get the PVA. No, that's knackered. That's no good. I'll tell you what, we'll find out tomorrow, won't I? I'll leave that and see what happens with that. I'm going to go and grab the PVA because I think that glue has had its day. So I'm going to leave that in there, see what happens to it tomorrow. So I better show if it goes off at all. I've got a distinct feeling that's had it. So 2 seconds. I'm just gonna. I'm yapping, aren't I? I haven't even got my microphone's there. Put the microphone there. Right, now, back again. I've got some PVA. It's a new one. I left the other one in the bathroom that I'm working on the floor, so see what this is like. So that goes off, that go in there. It's quite clever. And I can cut that off. Whoa. It's a little pot. Normally I have big pots. It's a bit disappointing, that is. There's all that whole sack of little It's about, what, a third left, I think. Looking at it. But I think that's gone off. Shouldn't be like that. Yeah, I don't keep the PVA this time of year in the house. In the workshop, because PVA, if it freezes, it turns to cottage cheese. Not cottage cheese that you can eat. No. You're not going to eat it. It's nasty, you see. Yeah, it's all in between your teeth and stuff. Don't try and eat it. So, I always put glue on both faces, because you get a lot of absorption in timber, especially pines. You get a lot of absorption. So, I might not put as much, but as long as I've got a coating on the other face, because that way you're making sure you've got full contact, and you're not going to have voids in your glued faces. So it's going to go in there together, like so. So I'm going to put some on half. Oh no! Don't want to do that. Right, but just run the roll over the other side again as well. So I've just banged it onto the bench, and bits of rubbish are probably stuck to it. So that's. Oh, speak of the devil, bit of rubbish is stuck to it. Don't worry, I'll squeeze it really tight with the clamps, and then it will force the little bits of grit into the joint. That's one way of doing it. This is a wallpaper roller, which has a bit of tape rolled around it, a bit of insulation tape wrapped around it, and as the glue goes off and it builds up onto the roller, you get to a point where you can just remove the tape, and then you've got a clean roller again, and you put more tape on, and you can carry on using it as a, as a spreader, as a glue spreader. Like I say, this is just a wallpaper jointing roller. That's all it is, and it works. Be interesting to see if this glue actually goes hard tomorrow, but that's just, you probably can't see it, but it's almost like it's powdery still. It's not right. It's not right at all. So if that goes off, and it is like glue, you might see a couple of scraps of wood and see if I can stick them together as well with it, and see what happens. See if it does go off, and if it does go off, and see if it's strong enough. We might be using it for something. Right, got one F clamp here. I've got this one over here. You don't need huge amounts of pressure. And also, if you put too much pressure onto your joints, all you end up doing is, one thing, you can make a cup, but also you'll squeeze all the glue out. You need glue in it to glue it. You don't want to squeeze it all out. Now, whenever I do anything like this, I always clamp on both sides, both faces. Otherwise, you can potentially squeeze it up into a, you can cup the face. So you make it basically bend one way or the other. So you pose that pressure, because obviously at the moment these clamps are on the back face, so they're providing pressure from that face, even though it's in the middle of the boards. Excuse me. I just burped. So you stick that one in the opposite direction, and it'll help counteract that influence. So making sure that you can maintain a flat surface. These clamps are a bit of overkill really, but there you go. They do have some oomph. Pretty flat, that's good. And then I guess we put one to the side and dry. That's what they're going to have to do. Still a bit loose. Okay. I'll put it over there near the fire, but not too close, because if it'll dry too fast and effectively bend the wood. That's warm over there. Right, that is over there now. So I can't really do much more. There's no point in me setting up to doing all the grooves and stuff like that for the actual panel, because I'm going to have to do it twice, because I've got the top and bottom the two ledges are going to have to be done as well at the same time, really, ideally. But I'll tell you what I do need to do. I need to be cutting some plugs, because I've got a whole load of holes in my floor with screws in them, and I need to fill up plugs. So we're going to put it onto the other camera over there. See, is that camera still working? Should we have a look? Is that one? Oh, I think it is. Right, so we're back onto that camera. I do want to do more live stream on this channel. You probably do realise that, because I've said it before. But this week has been a bit of a no-go at the moment. This week has been. Aha, I can use that. Okay. Right, got a couple of wood, which I can use that one. I'll use that one as well, which I'm going to make into plugs. But I'm going to grab a bit of wax as well, if I can find a bit of wax. Because this type of plug cutter I've got in there, they get hot. So I'll make sure I lubricate the sides of this plug cutter with some wax. Probably do for sharpening, to be honest, by now. On it goes! Are we in frame? Are we in frame? I think we are. Yeah, that's good. Goodies, goody gumdrops. Oh, let's pull that out. That's a very good idea. That one's, don't really want to do it like that if I can help it. I want to leave it in the bit of wood, so I might have gone too far. Nope, it just came off, that's right. Probably need about 60. Very small floor, but where the shower room is, it's literally, it's only about like, I don't know, 3 or 4 square metres. And most of it's covered up with a shower and a cupboard and everything else is in there. It just needs doing now. I'm quite pleased because it's actually, it does look really good. Considering they're all old boards, if you remember, they're all those manky boards that I used on that door. Oh, it's done it again. I think it's got a split on that side, isn't it? That's why. That's why. That keeps doing that. Had like a split in the piece of wood. So I'll carry it on over half. Yeah, what's quite funny is watch Question Time last night. You got Fiona Bruce, and she's obviously a conservative. She's not on my Christmas list. We had Ian Hislop, a woman who I didn't recognise. She was going on about processed peas. And then Robert Jenrick. And I have to admit, he was lost. You don't want to be going up against the likes of Ian Hislop. He's too formidable. Might be able to get all my plugs out. There's one piece of wood, which would be quite good. Yeah, I've been uploading quite a few shorts recently on the All Shorts channel. I've also been doing one, maybe 2 on the new channel, the All Shorts channel. And I really ought to be plugging that a lot more, really, because I need to get that up to its 1,000 subscribers, so I get the watch time on there as well, so I can monetize it. So I come up with the obviously I'm struggling making an income out of it, so I need to think about more strings in that bow. I'm thinking about revenue streams and from different places. But with this rewilding though, with the tree, you don't realise, I didn't realise, um, you think about, obviously you've got to buy a tree, and you can find how much they're going to cost, so you know where you are with them within reason. Apart from the ones you propagate yourself, obviously, apart from putting a lot of time into them, they're not so much, they're not really too costly. Apart from obviously your time, like I say. But the other ones, it's all the other stuff as well. It's like ties and all that sort of stuff I've got to buy, and stakes, and there's only so much offcuts, only so many offcuts I can get to make these things. And like the bird boxes, I've got to make a whole load of bird boxes. But I went to pick some wood up from the local brick and marché. And for a start, they didn't have any in stock. But when I looked at the labels on the actual shelves where they used to be, look at the exact same material we normally buy, which was used to be about €12 a square metre. It's now €32 a square metre. That's €32 a pack. Everything's just gone ridiculous. So we have the same problems here in France as you do in the UK. I don't think they're quite as severe for some products. But considering we're surrounded by trees, and they're always chopping the buggers down, you think that maybe timber would be at an affordable price. But I'll tell you what it is, though. They export a lot. They export quite a bit to the Netherlands, for a start. I know a friend of ours, I mentioned her before, actually, Lisa Nuri, she's Dutch. And she's got she's got a grounds maintenance type business, but also she's they make a lot of posts, piquets, sort of round posts for fencing, for wire fencing and stuff. Well, they've got a contract to send them to the Netherlands. The lorry comes along and they have to fill the lorry up with all these poles, all these piquets, and they're not allowed to have bark on or anything like that. But basically, those people doing that, selling, they get more money for them than they can sell them locally. So it's making it harder and harder to get now, because they're being exported. People go where the money is, don't they? Obviously. So I imagine the ones that she's doing it, she makes it, she cleans all the bark off them all. They've got a machine to do that. Strip all the bark off, and then he's put the spikes on. They've got another machine, like these blades they came in for, blades come in to put points on. Oh, I've got a horrific story about one of them machines. This was before Lisa moved over, and her and her boyfriend Johos, he's Dutch Greek, a Greek Dutchman. Before they moved over here, she was doing some part-time work for another Dutch guy in France, and anyway, it had old machinery, and he had a two-blade spike. Put spikes on with two blades, so you spin it around and do the other two faces. Yeah, well, it jammed, and this geezer, nearly lost his flipping arm. He tried to put his arm in there, and these blades were, he was trying forward to cover. Idiot was trying to put his, he got stuck. Luckily, they managed to shut the machine down in time. I took his arm clean off. It ain't because they're into health and safety here, because there certainly is. That's not everybody pays any attention to it. If you start employing things, that's the thing what we had because we were employing people in my business in the UK. Health and safety is paramount. For light's gone out. We used to work on a lot of sites for Simmon houses, Wilcon homes, and various others. They were, regarding your method statements and all that sort of stuff, for health and safety and all that. They were really, really hot on, and it should be. I have to admit, I did learn a lot about it by doing that. But the risk assessments are, oh my god, they're so formulaic. It's like you're walking across a site and you hit, there's a pothole, so that's a risk. you know, or the pavement's a little bit higher over there in that area, so that's a risk. So all these things you have to do in your risk assessment before you can actually start the contract or put your contract in for the tender. Put your price in. A bit wobbly, this is because the bit of wood's not flat on the back. Got a big split in it there. I think I nearly got as much as I can out of that bit of wood. I might be able to get in the middle of that. There we go. Yep. I need quite a few. I don't know how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Probably about 40 on that side. It's probably about 50 there. It's going to be more than 50 needed. I need to find another bit of wood. I had a bit of wood here, that'll do. So. Can't be bad. This is a better piece of timber. Because they're all seem to be cutting quite nicely and cleanly. That might be enough for the floor. If it's not, I'll expect more. I think the bit I'm not looking forward to is once I get all these plugs in, obviously I'm going to create a huge amount of dust trying to actually get rid of all the plugs which are sitting spread up on the surface. So I'm going to have to, you know, clean them off, and I'll do that with a sander. Well, face as well. Angle grinder with a sanding disc in it. It's the quickest way of doing it. But it does mean there'll be a cloud of dust inside the tiny shower room. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that bit. Yeah, I think part of the problem is the ports are not getting assigned, or I don't know whether or not there's a limitation to how many ports can be assigned in that version of Windows I got. I don't really want to go over to Linux or something like that. Because on that machine, I've got bits of software that I use that you can't get in Linux. Use an emulator, I suppose. Oh, I'll tell you what's really naughty these days. It's your mobile phones. You know, if you want to get your phone repaired, right, quite often you go to an independent repair agent. Well, there's lots of manufacturers now prevent you from being able to do that. OnePlus being one of them. I think Samsung is doing it as well. Like the batteries, they're coding the batteries now, so you know, you can't use you know, aftermarket parts, or it's got to be coded to your device, which means you have to use an actual service agent, which costs a lot of money. Very naughty. The fact they're not letting you service your own equipment, your own machines, your own property. I just feel, you know, it's gonna be funny. You can drive a car, can't you? 2 tons of steel, and then I don't know. You decide that you need to put your brake pads in it. You're allowed to do it yourself. You can kill someone with one of them, can't you? It's called a car. Did he? Oh, there we go. I think that's right. Can't actually see. Oh, it's there. Oh, there it is. It's just because I've got my glasses on there. Yeah. Alright, so I've got some plugs there. I could pop more out. I'll do that when I use them. So they're ready to go. Ah, Davey. I think I've got to go and walk the dogs in a minute as well. Oh no, I've got to walk the dogs. Right, what we got? Look at my big ear. Arthritis. Oh no! Your dog wants to go out for a walk. Yeah, we've got the same problem, Duke, with Pandora. She's got really bad back end. She's one side she's limping all the time, so she's got arthritis as well. It's terrible, it's horrible to see. Dosing up with painkillers. Duke says, "Go away, arthritis." Yes, I wish it would. No, I didn't know. So the CEO of YouTube is quitting. Oh, okay. I hope so. Under a lot of pressure at the moment. YouTubers are getting a lot of grief. So Mad Monk says that it could be just, it might be not enough power going into my USBs for the cameras, or it could be dirt. It could be dirt as well. That's the other thing, wasn't it? But it seems to be alternate cameras, so it's not always the same camera. Okay, Curry Library says, did you put the PC into sleep or power down mode? I normally just deboot it, turn it off, shut down. If so, Windows XP, or since Windows XP, there's always had issues turning the USB ports back on or working correctly after powering up again. Oh. I normally just shut it right down. I need to do some, that's quite interesting. Are you going to be doing any filming of planting? Yes, I am. Great Library, most definitely. We will be filming that. I have done some films and videos and clips and stuff. But over the winter, it's really hard over the winter. The field's really boggy in the winter months. It's like trudging in just mud, wet, grassy, hot. So it's not pleasant. And digging in it is a nightmare. Everything just sticks to your spades. As you know, we have been doing some. But yeah, I have already uploaded videos and clips of us putting trees in. But also, I like the idea of actually putting the. I'll tell you what I might do. I might do some shorts. It might be more. I might make more sense in some ways. I could make some shorts actually. Or putting the signs in with the trees. Mount the signs with the trees. That would be quite good because then it just looks clip it. So I might do it more regular, more often, then can't I? I think that'd be quite good as well. So scroll down. No, I didn't know that one. So anyway, I'm going to go because I need to go and walk my dogs. I've got to walk the dogs, haven't I? Because they need walking. And they won't be very happy if I don't walk them. No. So I'm going to meander off. I might come back again tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Saturday tomorrow. So I might do. It depends on how things progress because I've got to get on with this shower room as well. So I haven't had time to do much in the way of streaming. I could stream to a shower room, but it's not a very pleasant experience. It's cramped. I don't like working in cramped spaces. It's like, a bit like that. It's not great. So anyway, I'm going to catch you all again. Yeah, take care, Mad Monk. Thanks again, buddy. Court case, Google versus Gonzalez. Gonzalez. Yeah, Google's already been had massive fines. I think about 300 million or something fines with the EU. And they're likely to get a load more because they're struggling to abide by the what's it called now? What's it called? The thing you've got to click when you fit GDPR. Yeah, Google's struggling to get everyone to abide by it. Security and stuff like that. I have to admit, I struggle with it. I have to subscribe to or pay for a service that basically logs all the IPs and stuff. And then when people leave addresses or they click on things and stuff like that. Yeah, that stuff. I think that stuff has definitely had it. I think that's gone. Anyway, it's time to go. Walkie time, Bernard. I've decided not to walk her. She looks miserable enough. Oh, it's horrible. I hate it when dogs start, it's having problems. Anyway, I better go. So, like I said, it's time for me to go. So we're going to go, So let's go. Go. Right. Ta-ta.